What's up, YouTube? CBS This Morning is slowly releasing clips of Gayle King's interview with R. Kelly like chapters of Trapped in the Closet. And the chapter released today was Gayle King's interview with two of R. Kelly's girlfriends, Joycelyn Savage and Azriel Clary. Joycelyn Savage and Azriel Clary both live with R. Kelly at his home in Trump Towers, and they say they are living there with him of their own free will. However, their families believe that they have been brainwashed and that they're being controlled. I'm going to be analyzing the body language of both of these young women in this video, since both of their body language spoke volumes throughout the interview. I'm going to start with Azriel, since she was the first to speak during the interview, and she seemed to have a lot more to say than Joycelyn. Again, I study body language as a hobbyist, not a professional. However, a lot of things in this interview were very obvious. The first thing I want to point out is the way that Azriel is dressed for this interview. Azriel is wearing a coat in this interview, even though it's likely very hot in the room. The lights that the camera crew is using to light up the scene get very, very warm after a period of time, and I'm certain this is a very warm room under those lights. However, Azriel has not removed her coat. According to body language experts, the clothes that we wear are an extension of our body language. Certain colors and styles of clothing send signals to others. And Azriel's clothing and her choice not to remove her coat is sending a signal that she is not very open and that she feels the need to defend or protect herself. Joycelyn's clothing seems to indicate that she is more open compared to Azriel. She is not wearing a coat under hot lighting, and her choice of red clothing indicates that she likely wants to stand out and grab people's attention. Both ladies have their legs crossed during the interview, which is very common for women, especially sitting in the type of chairs that they're sitting in. But you'll notice throughout the interview that both ladies also continually cross their arms as well as clasp their hands together. According to body language experts, crossed arms indicate being closed off, and clasping and squeezing hands together is a self-pacifying gesture. A person who clasps their hands together is likely uncomfortable, maybe even nervous or fearful. Clasped hands with interwoven fingers, like what you see both Azriel and Joycelyn do, indicate great anxiety and frustration.
What is your relationship, both of you, with R. Kelly?
We're with him. That's our relationship.
We're with him. Yeah, that's what it is.
And we're in a relationship with him.
Right.
You just said it.
A very strong relationship as well.
Both of you?
Yes, most definitely.
You know, how do we say this without being inappropriate? Is this a three-way relationship, or do you each have a separate relationship with him? How does this work?
Well, both
I'm
of
curious.
those.
Yeah.
We both have our individual relationships with him, and
Right.
we all are family all together. We have our moments where we sit and watch movies all together. We go to amusement parks all together.
I'm not talking about Azriel going to movies and sitting watching, going to parks. I'm talking about, is it a three-way sexual relationship?
Sexually? Well, first of
between
all,
the
I'm
three
not
of you?
here to talk about my personal life.
Okay.
And I would never share with no one what I do in or outside of the bedroom. And as a woman, I'm sure you would not either.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't, but
Okay, then. So,
no,
yeah.
no, you're
next
right.
question.
No, you're right. I would not, but this is a very different circumstance.
It's
and
not
I
a
think
different
it's a fair
circumstance. There are
question.
people all over the world who have multiple girlfriends.
Azriel's frustration is most evident when Gayle tells her that they are not there to talk about them going to parks and movies together, but instead their sexual activity together. That's when Azriel first begins pointing her fingers at Gayle, and she becomes visibly upset. In my body language analysis of R. Kelly yesterday, I mentioned that according to body language experts, pointing a finger at a person while speaking is an authoritative gesture. People do this when imposing themselves. Parents do it to their children, and teachers do it to unruly students. It's a way of talking down to people, usually interpreted as aggressive and angry. Azriel Clary repeatedly points her fingers at Gayle, although at times she does use her other hand to hold down her pointing hand. This body language indicates that Azriel is very angry and wants to gain control of the conversation. However, she is also trying to hold herself back. You can see that while Azriel is pointing her fingers and getting visibly upset, that Joycelyn is very calm and she is nodding her head as Azriel is speaking. According to body language experts, nodding while the other person is talking sends approval signals and encourages them to keep talking. That seems like normal behavior. However, Joycelyn is nodding so much when Azriel speaks. At one point, Gail stops and asks her why is she nodding so much. But we'll get to that part in a minute.
It's no different.
Do both of you all believe you're in love with him?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
When Gail asks both Azriel and Joycelyn if they are in love with R. Kelly, they both respond yes, and they are looking Gail directly into her eyes. From their direct eye contact and the congruence in both what they're saying and what they're doing, it appears that they both are being honest about being in love with R. Kelly.
Should your
No.
parents be concerned?
No.
Why?
Well, my parents knew where I have always been for 4 years. They have known. They know that I've been well taken care of.
They never thought you were missing, Azriel. They just were wondering if you were okay.
Well, my parents have actually came to Chicago and seen me a few times. I've talked to them. They stopped answering my calls.
You know what they say? They say that you were brainwashed. I talked to your dad last night. He says, my daughter is brainwashed, and he's very concerned. He said he was here 2 days ago, and you wouldn't even look him in the eye.
Okay, I wouldn't look him in the eye because he's a liar, and he's a manipulative liar.
When Gail mentions that Azriel's parents are concerned that she might be brainwashed, Azriel rolls her eyes in her head as if Gail's statement was absurd. Acting as if a question or allegation is absurd is a technique that R. Kelly also uses in interviews, as we saw yesterday.
I'll tell you why they're concerned, Azriel, because they say she's 17. We found text messages that indicated that she was having sex with R. Kelly when she was 17. Is that true?
No, that is a lie. That is a lie. I was not having sex with him at 17.
When Gail mentions Azriel being 17 when she first had a sexual encounter with R. Kelly, you can see both Azriel and Joycelyn respond physically. Joycelyn readjusts herself in her chair, and Azriel appears to run her tongue over her teeth. According to body language experts, when the tongue is run back and forth over the teeth, it's a signal of stress. That stress increases saliva production, and running the tongue over the teeth is a way to control the increased saliva, and it also provides a soothing physical stimuli that can reduce anxiety. So basically, when Gail mentioned Azriel being 17 when she was first intimate with R. Kelly, it caused Azriel's anxiety to increase, and she physically tried to calm herself by running her tongue over her teeth.
Why would they want to lie about you, their daughter?
Okay, so when I first met Robert, my parents told me to lie about my age. So when I met him, he thought that I was 18. On top of that, when I was 17, my parents were actually making me, trying to get me to take photos with him, take sexual videos with him, all kinds of stuff.
Wait. Your parents encouraged you to do sexual videos with R. Kelly?
Yes. And they said because if they ever have to blackmail him, what they're trying to do now, they can use it against him, which is exactly what they're doing.
The explanation that Azriel just gave regarding her parents making her take sexual pictures and videos with R. Kelly when she was underage in case they wanted to blackmail him in the future appeared to be deceptive based on her body language. According to body language experts, when someone is being deceptive, their breathing often changes and becomes deeper. It's a reflex action that happens automatically because they're nervous and feeling tense. And you'll see right before Azriel starts telling that story about her parents, she exhales very heavily. This is likely because she was feeling nervous and tense about being deceptive, and her body was physically reacting to her nervousness.
Why would they want to lie about you, their daughter?
Okay, so...
Why would they want to lie about you, their daughter?
Okay, so...
According to body language experts, when confronted, someone who is being deceptive may take up aggressive gestures like pointing. Azriel points repeatedly while discussing her parents making her take pictures to blackmail R. Kelly, and her pointing may indicate that she's actually being deceptive.
Joycelyn, I see you nodding a lot with what she's saying. Why are you nodding in agreement with what she's saying?
Because everything that she's saying is true. Our parents are basically out here just to get money, and
Your
they're
parents,
scamming.
you're saying the same as saying?
Well, both of our parents are basically out here. They're trying to get money and scam because they didn't agree on what happened, you know, with music or wherever it could be, and they're just very upset.
Joycelyn's body language as she explains to Gail that she believes her parents are trying to scam R. Kelly does not show any obvious signs of deception. She is looking Gail in her eyes, and although she's very vague, she doesn't appear to be trying to be deceptive. It appears she does believe that her parents want money from R. Kelly. She appears nervous, and you can hear her voice tremble, and you can see that she repeatedly clasps her hands together to calm herself.
This is the first time hearing, to be honest with you, that your parents are trying to get money from R. Kelly.
Okay.
Because your father told a very different story
Yeah,
to me
well,
last night.
Yeah, he's the manipulative. He's very manipulative, so he's the one you need to watch out for. But my dad and my mom, they started to send threats to both me and him. They said, oh, I'll put all your naked pictures all over the world. I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to ruin him. If he doesn't send $20,000 to this bank account by Monday, oh, I'm going to put everything out there and then $10,000 after that. You're trying to solicit me like I'm some hoe. I'm not. I'm your child.
Here you can see and audibly hear Azriel exhale sharply and begin breathing hard again when she talks about her parents requesting money from R. Kelly. According to body language experts, heavy breathing is a sign of deception, and it appears that when Azriel talked about her family planning to blackmail R. Kelly, and when she talked about her family requesting money from R. Kelly, that she was attempting to be deceptive, and that's why she was breathing so heavily.
Exactly.
Yeah, you sound very angry with your parents. You sound very angry and very pained. Tell me, Azriel, why you're crying. Tell me.
As Azriel begins to break down crying about being angry with her parents, you see her touch her forehead and put her face in her hands. According to body language experts, the higher a person touches their face when they're concerned, the worse they perceive a situation to be. For example, if a person touches their chin, they may be somewhat upset. And if they touch their cheek, they may be very upset. And if they touch their forehead, then they're likely extremely upset. Azriel immediately touching her forehead as she begins to cry indicates that she perceives her situation with her parents to be extremely upsetting.
I'm crying because you guys don't know the truth. You guys are believing some facade that our parents are saying. This is all lies for money. And if you can't see that, you're ignorant and you're stupid as because you want to be.
Although Azriel is becoming emotional, she is still showing signs of deception. According to body language experts, covering the mouth before or during speaking is a likely sign of deception. You can see how Azriel covered her mouth before saying that her parents are creating a facade that the public is believing. The action of covering her mouth before making that statement is a signal that she may have been being deceptive.
All because that's the world we live in. Negativity sells.
Exactly.
Gossip is what sells. Rumors are what sells.
Exactly.
But Joycelyn and Azriel, this is more than gossip. This is more than just rumors. These are decades of allegations against Robert Kelly.
We're not here to talk about decades. We're here to talk about what our parents are doing right now.
Right.
And what they're doing right now is all for money.
Right.
Do either of you want to sing?
No.
No.
None of you have any singing ambitions?
No.
No.
That's
do not.
That's another lie.
Yeah.
That's another lie.
Yeah.
Trust me. No, we
Yes,
did not
I did
want
hear
to
that
sing.
you wanted to sing.
No,
I heard that you
I
wanted
did
to
not.
sing. So
Let me tell you something about singing, actually.
Okay.
Before I even met R. Kelly, I told my parents I did not want to sing. My parents made singing like a job for me. It's not something I wanted to do. And not only that, I even tried to kill myself because I did not want to sing, as a cry out for help to tell them this is not what I want to do with my life. This is not how I want to spend my life.
Yeah,
Sing.
your father told me that you had tried to take your life and that the only thing that made you happy was singing.
No.
And that's why he
a
became
lie.
involved with R.
Let me tell
Kelly
you something.
to
No,
help you.
No.
When Gail asks the girls if they want to be singers, neither shows any obvious signs of being deceptive. Both say no and shake their heads no. However, Azriel goes into a longer explanation of why she doesn't want to be a singer, which could be a sign of deception. According to experts, people often offer long, elaborate explanations when they're being deceptive. You can see that Azriel is again pointing her finger and running her tongue over her teeth while she is trying to convince Gail that she does not want to be a singer. Again, according to body language experts, her pointing her finger may be a sign of aggression and indicate deception, and her running her tongue over her teeth may indicate that she is anxious and trying to soothe herself because she is being deceptive. It's important to note in these interviews that Azriel always speaks first, and Joycelyn supports and affirms everything that Azriel says, even when Azriel is speaking about things that Joycelyn was not present for. Joycelyn was not present when Azriel's parents had whatever conversations that they had with R. Kelly. Yet Joycelyn nods and agrees with everything Azriel says happened with her parents. And you saw at one point Gail even asked Joycelyn why she was doing that. It appears, based on Joycelyn's body language, that she believes everything that Azriel tells her, even if she can't verify it for herself. So it's likely that if Joycelyn believes everything Azriel tells her, she likely believes everything that R. Kelly tells her too, especially since R. Kelly takes a position of authority over her. Joycelyn doesn't appear to have been trying to be deceptive when she spoke. She appeared to be very nervous. However, Azriel's body language did show signs of aggression and deception. She was very aggressive in the way she pointed repeatedly when speaking with Gail, and her body language showed signs of deception, like when she exhaled sharply every single time she spoke about her parents trying to extort R. Kelly. From what I've learned about body language, it appears that Azriel is very angry toward her parents, and she is doing what she's doing out of anger. And that may be why she appeared to lie on her parents multiple times during this interview, because she's angry with them. Joycelyn, to me, appears to be pretty honest based on her body language, but she also appears to be a follower. In this interview, she only spoke after Azriel spoke first, and she agreed with everything Azriel said, even to things that she couldn't verify. So it seems to me that if Joycelyn believes everything Azriel tells her, then she probably believes everything R. Kelly tells her too, especially because R. Kelly takes a position of dominance over her. Just based on her body language in this interview, it appears to me that she's very trusting and easily manipulated, and she's likely been manipulated by R. Kelly and the other people around her into truly believing that her parents are trying to get money out of R. Kelly. These are my thoughts based on their body language. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Do you think Azriel is angry with her parents based on this interview? And do you think Joycelyn has been manipulated? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Now, I know R. Kelly doesn't like women his age, but for those of you who do like dating people in your age range, stay tuned because I'm about to put you on to a new app. If you're a 60s, 70s, or 80s baby, here's a new mobile app designed just for back in the day singles, before texting, Instagram, and Twitter, when three-way calling, beepers, and mall meetups are popping. Hood Love, available on Google Play and the App Store. Attention YouTubers, you've asked and I'm delivering. I'm sharing with you step by step my secrets to making money on YouTube. And my free guide, How to Make Money on YouTube, is the first step to learning exactly what to do to make money on YouTube. So go to my new website, howtomakemoneyonyt.com, to download your copy today. The link is here on the screen, it's in the description box, and it's in the comments, so you can't miss it.